Hey there, I'm Danny Wilcox. I'm an entertainer in the realms of go-go dance, YouTube, modeling, and adult media. I'm here to explore the world of the entertainment industry through the lens of consumers and entertainers alike. So brace yourself for some deep conversations with unique and talented individuals right here on Keeping People Coming. Hello there, I'm Danny Wilcox and I'm here with.
Reggie Boots.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Reggie here is a lovely entertainer. I've personally been in one of his shows. So why don't you tell the people all that you do in entertainment?
Yeah. Well, I'm a non-binary entertainer. I sing live. One of my favorite things to do is play piano. I write my own music, and I sing and dance and throw a party. I shake my ass a lot. And yeah, I just like to get on stage and feel fabulous and make other people feel fabulous and yeah, just kind of like turn up.
Yeah. So, what first got you into entertainment overall?
Yeah, entertainment. Well, I really, I never really like kind of got into entertainment until I moved to Chicago. I moved to Chicago about 10 years ago.
Mhm.
Actually, 10 years this June. It's
Ooh,
my 10th year here in
congrats.
Chicago. Thank you. Um, so I grew up in church, and I started singing from a very young age. My parents are both musicians. My dad's a bass player, and he played in the church for my entire life. And then my mom is an evangelist, and she also sang and stuff. So I really, grew up with around a lot of music.
Yeah.
And then I started singing in church. I was in the children's choir at age like 4 was my first solo. So I was always on stage in church, really, like from that age. And then I was on two praise teams. My parents are divorced, so I was on two praise teams. I was
Hmm.
going to two churches,
Oh,
so that was also like very fun. That really got me into being on stage and singing and getting comfortable. Being on a mic, you're on a mic every single week, so
yeah.
that was kind of where I got into music. And then just like being in school, growing up in high school and stuff, I was in choirs. From Columbus, Ohio, so I was a part of the Columbus Children's Choir growing up. Yeah, so like just singing has always kind of been my thing. When I was the first time I kind of got into entertaining, I was in college and I they asked me to kind of like do this talent show, right? The first week of college, and I was like, okay, well, like let
Right off the
me
bat.
let me just try that out. Let me do that. I had done talent shows before in high school and stuff, but this was like new for me because it was college, and I was kind of had this like idea of college of being like just like in the movies where you have this like brand new awakenings. I was like, all right, this is my moment. So I did this talent show in college, and it really just kind of took off from there. I got a really great response, and so I just started putting on like events and putting together performances. I put together a little group called Regina and the Cookies at the time.
Ooh.
So it was me and then a crew of backup dancers, and yeah, and we would start performing throughout Bloomington and stuff. And then after that, when I moved to um, Chicago, I was kind of like I didn't really think I was going to be performing anymore like that in that way. I didn't like
Yeah.
plan it in any kind of sense.
But talent has got to find an outlet. It gets sought
Right.
out.
Yeah. And it kind of happened in a funny way. I ended up moving to Uptown, and my stop was the red line on the red line, the Lawrence stop, and there's a
Mhm.
little bar right under the Lawrence stop called Uptown Lounge. And one night I like stumbled in there, and it was karaoke, and I
Ooh.
had never karaokeed at a bar before. I'd done karaoke in college. They had like a karaoke night, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun! I love karaoke. I can, sing songs." Um, but I found this bar and did karaoke, I just fell in love with it. I loved the bar, I loved the people, and that outlet to kind of sing and kind of perform in my way.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of opened up through that experience. So eventually, the DJ that was hosting the karaoke was like, "Well, I'm moving, and we need a new host." I ended up getting that hosting gig and started hosting karaoke shows 5 nights a week for almost 4 years.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, that was kind of what really helped me find my voice, helped me learn how to work a mic, helped
Hmm.
me learn how to engage with the crowd, with an audience, all kinds of different crowds, because I would work 5 nights a week at several different bars. So, um, yeah, that's kind of really what pushed me to like learn how to, you know, have a mic and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, I haven't really had many hosts on here before,
mhm.
but you said that that wasn't initially what you had like done in performing. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
How does that feel different from live singing?
Hosting is, I think, I I think I'm sort of naturally a host. I really enjoy like I'm the type. I love having people over. I love, I think really entertaining is like, it's something like you just have within you. Like if you wanna, most people either go to for that entertainment, or they would like to be entertained, kind of like Britney Spears says.
Hmm.
So the live singing is a little bit more technical. Hosting, I kind of feel like is an easy role to, if you're social, if you're able to talk to people, if you're able to make yourself comfortable and thereby make other people comfortable. That's kind of something you can kind of like really just slip into if you're comfortable
Yeah.
being a host. And then singing is a little bit more technical. Obviously you can study different vocal techniques, and then live singing on top of that, especially
Mm.
like in nightclubs and stuff, is kind of like a totally different space, because when you're singing, you can make a record and make a song in a
Hmm.
studio, and that's kind of different than when you're like, say, singing classically, maybe at like a recital or something,
Yeah.
versus singing at gay bars. And yeah, so there's definitely different kind of styles.
But then
um,
when you add playing an instrument in with that, just even more technicality.
yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, playing piano for me is almost, I've been playing also since I was a kid. We had a little piano. We've always had a piano in the house. And my favorite piano still is the piano that my grandparents had. It was like this old out of tune piano, but I would play that every time I went to their house. Eventually, we ended up moving into my grandparents' home after my grandparents passed away, and so I always had that piano growing up. So, um, for me, it almost is there. My singing and playing is like almost in tandem. So,
Yeah, it's very personal.
yeah, and it's been amazing to get to share that at my show at Charlie's.
So
Um,
whenever anyone's performing, you're sharing a lot of yourself. It's
yeah.
there's a lot of vulnerability there.
Hmm.
How do you feel about being vulnerable on a stage of hosting versus playing an instrument versus performing?
Yeah. I am someone who is, I'm a very rehearsed person, if that makes sense. I really, I'm a perfectionist. So kind of, um, I kind of, the vulnerability I think comes because as rehearsed as I am, and as much of a perfectionist as I might be, nothing ever goes exactly according to plan. Nothing is ever exactly right. And so I think that, those are my kind of like vulnerable moments when I'm like, oh shit, I just forgot a word, or oh, I just hit the wrong key. That's where it's kind of, for me, that moment of like vulnerability. And I'm also like pretty comfortable with most people, so I'm not like scared to mess up or anything like that. But it also just comes with I mean, that is like why you go to a show. You want to feel that connection with whoever's on stage, and
Yeah.
it's you can't really like beat yourself up about those little things. You just have to kind of go for it.
Yeah, I definitely have issues with being terrified of messing up, and then
Yeah,
like it happens a little bit, and it's taken a long time to just let it go,
yeah,
just move on, because if you focus on the good things, the audience will too.
of course,
Yeah. Plus, especially with like rehearsing and like dancing, you miss a step, the audience doesn't
exactly.
really.
I'm like I feel like it's when I like miss a word, I'm like, you know what? I actually just wrote the song. They did. You may not have known
It's a
that. So
remix.
yeah, it is exactly. Put my own little spin on
Exactly.
it.
Well, speaking of your own spin, you had mentioned being a non-binary performer, and I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry I misgendered you there at the
No,
beginning.
no problem.
So how does that impact your performance and you as an artist?
hmm well, this is kind of like I've been growing into this kind of aspect of performing. I really initially I'm inspired by the great Queen Beyonce. So really, it was me like getting my first like leotard, like Beyonce style, like leotard, and putting on a pair of heels that kind of like made me feel like not sort of restricted in and wearing like I used to be like, oh, like I would wear a nice shirt and nice pants and shoes, and um it felt okay, but it never really felt like I was fully like comfortable.
Yeah, did that feel like
um
just a remnant of performing in churches?
Yes, I think definitely. I think there is a certain dress code that just goes into being in church, and so I definitely kind of carried that. Um, but I've never been the type that enjoys like wearing suits and dressing up. So being able to kind of shed that version of my masculinity and kind of transition into the feminine side for
Yeah.
me has been really liberating and very exciting. So I mean, and my pronouns are kind of like I don't really care. I'm just like whatever. It's kind of the idea of just having that freedom, and maybe that's in part some of the vulnerability that I get to share too. Is just
Yeah.
not every outfit works, but I've been luckily been finding the right sizes and getting all of
Yeah.
that stuff kind of
Well, and
worked out.
you don't know an outfit's gonna work if you don't try it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've been exploring with my gender expression a little bit more,
Yeah.
embracing that femininity, because I feel like if somebody's just totally against embracing femininity as a man, or someone born a man, then that's kind of misogynistic. Like
Yeah.
you see, like femininity as inferior when really it's just something that exists and doesn't really relate to what's in your pants.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, especially with performance.
Yeah. Performance is also, it's creating a character. It's creating um, an experience. Um, I kind of my name is Reggie Boots, and that's kind of something that I found really just because I enjoyed wearing high heels and wearing boots. So, I as I kind of found that aspect, I began to appreciate that side of myself
Yeah,
too, and that's just been really exciting and
yeah.
really fun to
I actually
discover.
was talking to someone yesterday who said he's very tall, and said that when he was younger, he always would make himself smaller because he didn't want to
Mm,
like stand out, especially like in a dance class, because then you may be more noticeable.
yeah.
And he did some modern in college, and the teacher was just like, "No, be big, be open, use your space."
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of performers experience that where they don't want to be seen as much in case they mess up.
hmm
How do you feel about just using up all the space you have and like being yourself and letting it all out there?
Yeah. My goal when I'm on the stage is to bring people in as much as I can.
Hmm.
So I definitely am the type I can feel the energy from anybody who's in the room. I'm definitely like very the stage like I can really like connect, and I'm very like tuned in, I don't know, almost spiritually to that to a degree, because everyone's there, and whether they're watching you or maybe they're getting a drink or maybe they're checking their phones, everyone has just that vibration.
Hmm.
And so um I definitely like to. He's so cute. I definitely like to take up that space and make people feel like they're a part of what we're doing and what's
Yeah.
being made. So, yeah, one of my favorite things to do is just crowd participation, crowd work. So I'll definitely. Um, Sometimes being big is just like giving somebody that direct eye contact while you're singing a certain word in the song, or you see if I like there's one song that I do. It's Rude Boy by Rihanna, but if I see a queen in the audience, I'll look at her, I'll call her a queen because
Yeah.
that's how I feel that connection. And being on stage, it does make you bigger than life, so you have to take all of that in.
There. And I feel like on stage, if you're not really being yourself and letting it out there and you're not comfortable, it's hard to get the audience to be comfortable too.
Hmm.
And a comfortable audience is a happy audience.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's just you have to. It comes with confidence, and you have to kind of be sure about what you can bring and who you are, because it will all translate. And there's no hiding. When you're on a stage, there's no hiding. Like everyone's looking at you.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely uh, exciting for me
Yeah.
to do that.
Well, do you ever get nervous before or during a performance?
Um, Not anymore. I'm definitely more. It's like anticipation. I'm like I cannot wait to do whatever I'm gonna do. I often have. Hey.
So Nelson's having some fun right now.
Yeah.
I think the microphone should cover that
Oh,
out.
no problem.
Anyway,
um. Oh crap! What was I saying?
here, I think I might just go close that
Oh,
window.
okay. Being nervous. Okay.
Yes, there we go.
No, I'm not really nervous anymore. Yeah, it's just more anticipation. Like I said, I'm a very rehearsed performer, so
Mhm.
especially when I'm putting together a number or I'm putting together a performance, I do it over and over and over and over and over and over to the point that when you get on stage, it kind of just like kind of let it go,
Yeah.
because you know what you're gonna do, right? Like that's part of like being kind of confident and sure of what you can bring. So the nerves don't really play a part. Where I think where I get like maybe a little bit, yeah, I don't really, yeah, no, actually, I don't think I don't really think I have the nerves as much
Well,
anymore.
you are a seasoned performer. Like you've been playing instruments and performing in church ever since you were little.
Yeah,
So that really has helped you grow into it more.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah, and the church they were like mega churches, so it's like even as a young kid, it was a lot of people.
the spotlight on you. The
Yeah.
audience is all dark.
Yeah. So I'm really comfortable singing to one person, and actually it makes me a little bit more nervous to sing to a smaller group than a bigger group. Like I like a large crowd, I'm like, oh, I can work it. But the small one, I'm kind of like, all right, well, we got to get real intimate.
Oh yeah.
So um
Performance does definitely just have a lot of that intimacy. I've talked with a lot of people about intimacy in performance and how with adult performance that I've done, it doesn't really feel intimate. I mean,
mm,
even though people would say it's intimate relations, which you're showing isn't yourself so much.
yeah,
It's just something physical.
yeah,
But when you're on a stage, it all comes out. You're letting it all hang out for everyone.
right.
And showing your personality is a lot more vulnerable than just showing your genitals. I
Yeah,
think at least. Um,
yeah. I think that's definitely true. Like I said, it's that character almost that you've created, and that's that packet. That's what people kind of come for when you put yourself out there to entertain people. Um, that's kind of a good way to is having that character. For me, Reggie Boots is um, a character. It is me, but it's also something that people can have and take and use to inspire them as well.
I'm glad you mentioned inspirations because I want to talk about inspiration, but we're just going to take a brief break. We'll be right back. And we're back. So, talking about inspirations, one of my biggest inspirations with music is actually Cupcake.
Oh wow, yeah.
And do you know where she got her start?
I don't know.
Gospel choir.
What? Yep.
Yep. People told her she should get into rapping, and she made that transition and became the icon and legend that she is today. And just that
Yeah.
story of embracing yourself and being proud of like where you got your start and bringing it to where you are, even if they're so disparate. I think it's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
So, who and what and where inspires you for all
yeah.
of your art?
Well, I have a lot of inspirations. Musically, I think it's a really abstract artist. Maybe not that abstract, but her name is Paula Cole. Um, the first song I ever really tried to play on piano, like as a song, I used to, as a kid, I would, just kind of like bang around and like I would make songs up. But the first song I remember like sitting down and being like trying to play it was this song called Nietzsche's Eyes by Paula Cole. She is, I don't know if you've ever seen the show Dawson's Creek, that song. It's like, do, 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 do. She's that singer.
Ooh.
Um, she's just fabulous. She's an incredible singer, an incredible musician. So my like through her music, I kind of like found my own style of playing piano. Yeah, she's an amazing person. She's very just delight. I gotten to meet her a few times, and she's just so amazing. And then yeah, I draw a lot of inspiration from Beyonce. I literally am trying my hardest to be the Beyonce impersonator of Chicago. So I'm like, I definitely learned a lot about stage work from watching Beyonce perform.
Mhm.
Um, since I was maybe like 16 years old, I've watched every single performance over and over and over and over and followed every every show that she's done, every
Doing the
tour.
choreography at
I
home.
literally I know all the dances. Yeah, she's a huge inspiration. I think she's the best entertainer that we still have
When she
alive.
spreads just love and positivity with all of
It's
her performances.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's literally no better place to be than at a Beyonce show. So, um, yeah, I definitely draw a lot of inspiration from her, and um, that has really surprisingly, I never thought I was like a dancer or anything like that, and I still don't. But uh, I have just like I said, I'm a rehearser, so I've done all of those numbers over and over and over and over again, and it has just kind of like now it just sits in my bones, and I I can do it in my sleep.
Having seen you
um,
move, I can say you're a dancer. Like
Thank
you,
you.
you know how to put your body where it needs to be to give an entertaining performance.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been a lot of fun. I've been doing the show Charlie's Live for a little over a year now, and it's a weekly open mic stage show. Um,
You should check it out if you're in Chicago.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely if you're an entertainer, if you're a performer, please come because it's a really amazing space for a lot of new entertainers to get out and try new things. I kind of built the show off of this idea of, in my mind, I was like, well, it's a Monday night at midnight, like there was nothing, there's no show at the bar. So I was bartending. I'm still a bartender there, and I was bartending, and I was like, man, like what? Why is it's just dead until like for like 2.5 hours? We got to like do something. I was like, you know what? Like I'll just play. Like I'll play piano. I'll sing, and maybe like people will come. And so it was really built off of kind of like a wanting to bring this aspect of live entertainment to North Halstead, to Boys Town, because that was something I felt like I wasn't seeing. I'm also like super inspired by the art of drag, and I think some of the best entertainers that we have in this city are drag entertainers.
Absolutely, hands down.
It's like so incredible, some of the pieces that they can put together and the way that they can tell a story through drag is so incredible. And I feel like there are so many talented LGBT musicians and singers, dancers, performers. There's just we are as a community the most talented people, I think, because
Mhm.
we come from that kind of, a lot of us come from that struggling background where we're not accepted, we're not seen, we're not wanted in a lot of spaces. So it kind of forces that creativity out of you one way or the other, even if you're not a performer to survive in a country that
Yeah.
isn't,
Well, and it gives you that personal inspiration to create something, to let that
yes,
out, that whether it be emotion or just your experience.
yeah. So I wanted to just bring a space for people to kind of um, do that thing, if even if it's not specifically drag, even if it's not singing, even if it's not dancing, an open stage to kind of let people try whatever their talents are.
Yeah.
And Yeah, it's just been really cool. We've had over 150 artists, come across the stage and do new things, which is just for me really edifying. It makes me happy to see other people live on stage and have that kind of moment for themselves.
Yeah, well, as you said, it's something you wanted to bring to Chicago because it wasn't really there, and I can
Hmm.
say there's not that much in terms of live singing at
Hmm.
bars, at
Yeah.
least. And being there, getting to see all of it, everyone just like the energy was just palpable,
Yeah.
and it's almost like a positive feedback loop of inspiration. So I
Yeah.
got to see those people, and it made me want to sing more, even though I'm not a singer. Like when I showered, when I had a car, like that was exclusively where it was.
Yeah.
But just seeing everyone so comfortable in there, like singing and listening to it and just exposing those things.
Yeah.
It's beautiful and it's something that really isn't common in bars.
Yeah.
I feel like nightlife entertainment tends to be more like go-go dancers and drag, and a
Hmm.
lot of people have kind of put those things together as being like something that's adult. And I think that leads to
Yeah.
the issue of people saying drag queens shouldn't read to children, which is
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That is so true. I kind of like didn't necessarily think of it exactly in those terms, but um, definitely, yeah.
hmm.
That's so cool. That's a really interesting insight.
Yeah,
That.
I feel like I keep hearing people talking about just drag and like nighttime performance, and I know they're focusing on that because gender is very polarizing now
Hmm.
for some people.
Hmm.
It really isn't that complicated. Someone else's gender isn't really your business. It's
Exactly.
not your business to legislate. But just because something is often performed at bars and nightlife does not mean that that's all it is.
Right.
Like your show is not adult. It's
Yeah.
not like children couldn't come and watch it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's at a bar, so they couldn't. But if it was moved to somewhere else,
Right.
absolutely. And I'm sure
Yeah.
they would have a wonderful time. I mean, they were
Yeah.
singing from The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Yes, I did do that that week. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That is one of my favorite. That is one of my favorite songs to do. And so, yeah, you're right. I definitely think a that whole debate about drag. It's just like I said. It's an art. It's a form of expression. And while you can have, I can sing any song, and it could not be appropriate for any audience. Depending on who I'm performing. It's all about all of us as artists have that capability to structure and reframe, and we all have that right to entertain, and
Mm-hmm.
and that everyone wants to be entertained too.
Yeah.
So there shouldn't be any judgment about, well, if I want to bring my kids or my nephews and my nieces to see an incredible drag show, um, it's going to be up to my decision making. Like
Yeah.
my judgment should be enough, and a lot of people want to be involved in situations that they shouldn't be involved in. And
Oh yeah.
making decisions for people that they shouldn't be making.
And on that point, do you ever get people with you like playing with gender expression more who try to give you negative feedback that is definitely unwarranted?
Um, yeah, from time to time, not necessarily negative feedback, but it's just sometimes people, it's almost with anything, people think, oh, like, people want to weigh in on what I'm doing, or how I'm singing something or whatever. Um, but for me, it's like it goes back to that sort of idea of just being really sure about what you can bring and who you are. And I just know kind of how, I know how to express myself for me. So what is the most important when I'm performing is that I'm happy with what I bring,
Mm-hmm.
because there's nothing. For me, there's nothing worse than getting off stage and being like, man, I really screwed up, or man, I really messed that up.
Yeah, and you don't need other
Um,
people trying to put that on you because that is their opinion. That's
yeah,
their problem.
exactly. So it's been a long time since I've had that feeling. It was when I was younger. I kind of like had a performance, and I was like, man, I really messed up. But I took that, and that's where that kind of like drive for me to rehearse so much kind of came from, is because I never wanted to be where that was when I was like 12 years old. I still am like, man, I hate watching that performance. But that's good, that fuels you.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, like if I'm happy with what I'm bringing, there really isn't a lot of things that people can say that will kind of shake it.
hmm,
Now, that being said, obviously, I want to know, like, if you think something can be better, then I will, like, I love to hear, like, hey, maybe could you sing this song and try this song? I love getting new ideas.
yeah, or like add
Um,
this to this outfit,
yeah, yeah.
something
So
instructive.
yeah, so stuff like that I really like. But yeah, like I don't really like, if you don't like what I'm doing, then you don't have to, you can
Go
unfollow. You
somewhere
don't have to
else.
come to my show. It really doesn't affect
Yeah.
me in that way.
Well, having a lot of performers and entertainers on here, I always like to talk about just negative comments that people get, and the consensus seems to be that that just really doesn't matter. That's like
Yeah.
I said, it's their problem.
Hmm.
So with performance and entertaining, what things about being in this industry have surprised you along the way?
Oh yeah. Wow. A lot has surprised me. I think the biggest thing for me has just been the support overall, um, because I kind of wasn't I wasn't seeing that, like, kind of like, very, I wanted to see something other than drag, in terms of like, I wanted to see the live singers, I wanted to see the dancers being like booked at every show, going to other places and like seeing um, variety. I didn't think that people would take to a show that didn't feature just drag. I felt, there was kind of like that risk that, if I put four singers on a ticket, if I put, people that aren't traditional drag queens, that, we wouldn't be able to be successful. And so, yeah, that's been a really big surprise. And I think it goes to the immense talent in this community, that, as well as the drag queens, the entertainers that I've been able to bring on have also brought such incredible, like, performances and sets and stuff. So yeah, the response overall from the community has just been really positive, and um people really enjoy the show. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's been like, it all of those, when you feel like, oh, like, man, like, I wish I could do it. You can do it. Like, people always say, whenever somebody like wins an Oscar, like, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Like, that, it's actually true.
and
You
if
know what I
Nike
mean?
tells you, just do it.
Yeah, yeah. Put your mind to it and get out there, and really put that work in, because it does pay off, and people see that. And
Oh yeah.
so
Well, and you're somebody who's, as you said, always very rehearsed, prepared for things.
yeah.
And I'm curious, what's it look like for you getting ready for a performance? And that could be start like the actual getting ready the day of, as well as from the moment you have something booked and ready, like picking
Yeah.
out music and rehearsing and things, all the way up to getting ready.
Oh yeah. I'm very much well, okay, there's a couple of things. So I guess here's a little tidbit. So for me, I have like, I have a go-to set. So whenever I'm gonna do a new place or a new gig or a new performance, um or a new, but mostly a new place. I have something that's ready to go, that I know for sure has never messed up. It always goes over well. That's just something. But I'm also someone who is very hands-on, and I get very, I get bored easily. I want to do new stuff.
Hmm.
So uh, I do pretty much. I'm pretty much hands on in everything. I'll pick my outfits. I will make my own mixes. I will Sometimes I've written a song just for a performance or just for a specific show. Um, yeah, it's if I'm doing something new, I usually will rehearse like every day. You know, even if it's on my own, I'm rehearsing every day. If it's with a group, you know, we'll rehearse whenever everyone can get together, and then
Yeah.
we do it over and over and over and over again. Um, so yeah, getting ready is just definitely like it's a longer for me. It's just the minute I get the idea, and whenever I get offered a new opportunity, it's always like I'm always like, okay, so what can I do different? What can I do? What's the space like? What is the audience like? So that way I can tailor something that's special and specific to that crowd.
Yeah.
One of my favorite shows that I've been able to do was during Black History Month. I did this show Uncaged, and it's hosted by Matt Cage.
Hmm.
And that show during Black History Month, it's a show that caters specifically to Black and POC audiences. That show was super exciting for me to put together a performance for because um, it was I was able to be so unapologetically Black on stage. And so I was able to kind of put something together that was really special. So yeah, like from that day, you know, I knew exactly what I was going to wear. I knew exactly, you know, I put the mix together.
Yeah.
I had all the choreo down. So it was just, um, yeah, that was really cool for me.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite part in the process of getting ready for a performance?
I think it's making the mixes. I really love, putting together different elements. I like also like when I first started kind of making mixes and stuff. Um, they were always really long, and so I did a few gigs. Where like, well, you have to be shorter than 15 minutes. I
There's
was
just
like,
so much to put in.
I was like, how can I get? I don't know if I can get it under 12 minutes. This is crazy, you know. And so yeah, like those like little challenges have been really exciting for me to take on because it makes you better as a performer.
Yeah. Well, you
Um,
know, every second, every beat, but when things are gonna be. For me,
yeah,
making the mixes, it just makes it feel so much more real. Like it's like
exactly.
this performance is happening. I know exactly what my music will be,
Yeah.
and that's why I like doing my own mixes rather than just doing a song that's start to finish already done,
Hmm.
or like having somebody else do the mix. Like
Yeah.
then you get it, and it's like, this maybe doesn't feel quite like what I want.
Yeah.
You don't have that control.
Yeah. I think, and that's a part of, you know, my perfectionism is if, especially if it's something that I'm presenting, I want everything to be exactly under my control, exactly how I made it. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
No,
definitely
I'd
making
also
mixes.
like you having mentioned Uncaged and being able to be unapologetically Black for your performances.
Hmm.
You put together a Juneteenth celebration yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was incredible. We actually did two events for Juneteenth
Mhm.
at Charlie's. So we put together a barbecue that was just supposed to be basically like a cookout. It's like just fun, you know, like
Yeah.
everybody come out, eat. We had music, we had dancing, we had games, we had performances, like, and it literally, for me, it was so special to bring that because it's something our community needs and should have. You know, we should have spaces for Black people to feel appreciated and welcomed. Um, in the past, I've been in Chicago for 10 years. Um, I have definitely seen racism in the North Halsted and the Boys Town community. So it's definitely things have been changing and getting better, but obviously it's going to take a lot of us in the community to make sure that we still are making sure that that it wasn't just like a hashtag and a buzz line, you know, a couple of years ago, that we stay and make these spaces comfortable for Black peoples. And
Yeah, that can't be a performance. It needs to actually happen. It needs to be
yes,
things moving forward that are changing,
yeah,
making those spaces and having those events.
yeah. So I feel like that Juneteenth, I'm very grateful to everyone at Charlie's who a let me kind of put that together and bring that to our community. Yeah, it was very cool. We had the best food. Oh my goodness, the food was so good. Oh, if you didn't have the food yesterday, you missed out.
I
You
know
missed
I missed out. I just got back from out of town and I was just like wiped all day.
out. Yeah, and then right after that, we had our Juneteenth celebration for Charlie's Live, and we featured the House of Everything, which is an incredible
Ooh.
performance collective here in Chicago, comprised of entertainers of all kinds, dancers, singers, photographers. Um, yeah, they were just incredible, and they shut the house down. Oh
With
my gosh,
everything.
they shut it down with everything. It was
Yeah.
so good. Yeah, it was that yesterday it was a really great day, um, and yeah, those events are important to me. I always I know how people view when places when they're saying, oh, North Halstead, it's racist, blah blah blah. You don't want to see that because this is my community too. So it's important to me to make sure that I can help change that in any way possible and bring people in and make sure that it's not just a space for me, but a space for other people like me, that
Yeah. It's a
need to
space for all
have
those
those
people who
space.
have like feel outside of society, particularly heteronormative society,
Hmm.
and that's not something that's restricted by color, and
Yeah,
it definitely shouldn't be, especially with entertainment, because entertainment's for everyone.
yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to share about entertainment that we haven't touched on?
Um,
Anything about it at all?
just do it. Like, the funniest thing that I have seen hosting this show has been how nervous people are to get on a stage, and you can there's like there's like two types of kind of like nervous people who are like there's those people that are like they're kind of like there and they're not going to get they're just not going to get on stage, but they've got it. And then there's those people that like they want to do it so bad but they're afraid of people not liking them or anything like that. I would always say just get out there and do it because um it's really easy to let that voice in your head tell you that you can't do something, but it's always worth the release and that freedom once you get on stage and once you do your thing.
Oh yeah.
And it's so awesome to see. So I know there's like a lot of talented people out there that are, you know, just doing what they have to do to get by. But that would be, I definitely think I would like to encourage people to get out there and start
Yeah.
put yourself out there. And even if it's just doing an open mic once a week or going to karaoke, even like that was for me for a long time. That was a lot of what kept me going was being able to sing even to a karaoke track,
Yeah, or you just
So
have like a group of friends at your place, and you just get do a little performance for them.
yeah,
I feel like
absolutely.
every performer that's been on a stage at some point has had that doubt and that fear,
Yeah.
but it's not always there, and sometimes you can use it to fuel you.
Yes,
Mhm.
definitely.
So then, the final question, as we're rounding out on the time, how do you keep people coming?
Oh, definitely by spamming them on social media. Yeah, like for me is definitely a uh, I try to create that. I try to create the spaces that make people feel comfortable. First off, so whether it is Charlie's live show, whether I'm in a drag show or anything, just by trying to stay authentic and stay true to the character or the performer that I've created. It's also that's how I really try to keep people interested, keep people around because
Yeah,
and being consistent in the terms of always doing what I can to be better than the last number, to be better than my last performance, to take myself even higher
yeah,
and to
always growing.
surprise people. So you may think you know what I'm gonna do, and it may be Beyonce, but it will be a different version. It'll be a different take, or something will be different, and that's that. It's if it's gonna excite me. I know it's gonna excite other people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, you need to be there. Like if your mind's somewhere else and you're on a stage,
Uh
it's
huh.
not quite gonna be the same.
Right. Yes, and you can. I mean, definitely when I'm performing, I'm 100,000% locked in because, like I said, that feeling, that energy, that vibration from everybody in the room is so fun, so beautiful, and every single person when I'm performing, every single person that's there matters, and they're so special, and you just they deserve to get
Yeah.
top notch.
Oh, I mean, it's
So
not a performance without people to view it, without an audience.
yes, uh huh,
Oh, and something I didn't even say: do what you love and do
yeah.
it often.
Ah!
All right. So for the end, do you want to share some of your social media for the people, and I'll show them all
Yeah.
on screen for you.
Yeah, I am on Instagram at Reggie Boots. And so follow me on there. I'm going to be working on, I'm a little bit like, kind of lax with the social media, but I am working on posting a lot of my performances and stuff. I've been so fortunate to be performing for the past 2 years, so many places. So I'm going to be uploading a lot of videos. And then I also will be using TikTok pretty soon. So my TikTok is going to be It's Reggie Boots. Um, I like using Twitter the most, so follow me on Twitter at It's Reggie Boots. Yeah, and then I will be a judge for the upcoming season of Cage Fight at Charlie's Chicago. So season 3, it's an all male go-go competition, so that's going to be really fun and exciting. Lots of sexy, oh, sexy
Oh
people
yeah, if you
doing
thought you knew go-go
sexy
dance,
things. Yes.
just wait.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'll also be a guest judge at Survivor for season 15. So I'm really excited to do
Yeah.
that.
Where is Survivor?
Survivor is at Fantasy Nightclub. So make sure you guys come out for that. I will be guest judging. I believe the date is January or July 26th. And then I will also be at Charlie's every single Monday for Charlie's Live. If you or anybody you know is an entertainer or performer of any kind, please send them out. We have a little sign up sheet. Anybody that signs up is eligible to get paid and booked for Charlie's Live in the future. So it's definitely an amazing opportunity to get out and do, something and get paid to do it. So
Oh yeah. All right. Well, that has been Reggie Boots here on this podcast. So always remember, people, stay sexy, be yourself, and keep people coming. Bye.